Hey friends, welcome back to Simply a Better You. Today I am taking these wonderful pans that I have been gifted from my mother-in-law, and I'm going to bring them back to life. These are pans that her late husband had from his great-grandmother, and I'm going to go ahead and clean them up. They've been in storage for a really long time, so they're not really rusted, they're just kind of dirty. And we're going to scrub them up and re-season them and put them back into use. I also have this pressure canner that I am going to try to see if it's savable and we can use it. So Joe went ahead and took my Lodge pan that I bought from Walmart. I hadn't used it in a while because I hated the seasoning on it, and he is sanding all the seasoning off of it. And we are going to re-season this pan. I've done some research, and from what I understand, this is the best way to go when you buy a pre-seasoned pan from Walmart or just any retail store. I took all of these pans and I gave them a really good scrub down. Really good scrub. Used some baking soda, made like a paste, and let it sit on some of them. You put a little bit of vinegar on there, and it helps break down just all the gook and the grime and rust and stuff, if there's any on there. I did this with all of my pans. Some of them required a little bit more love, so a lot more baking soda paste. You can let it sit for a little while if they're really rusted, but usually just a good scrub down with them. Let them sit for just a few minutes, and then you can either pour the vinegar on, sprinkle it on, or spray it on, but it helps just kind of dissolve all the gook and grime. You'll begin to see just all the dirt kind of run off the pan as I am scrubbing here. Now you can see how dirty that pan was. I mean, really, this is the simplest thing, and it takes everything off the pans. Once you are done doing that, though, you just don't want to rinse the pan. You want to wash it again. It has like a little film residue that builds up on the pan, so you want to scrub all of that stuff back off. So I am using just mild dish detergent and scrubbing away here to get as much off as I can. Once you're done washing, you want to go ahead and towel dry this. Preferably a lint-free towel would be great. But I try to get off as much water as I can, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn my stove on to a medium to medium-low heat and put this pan on there. This helps make sure that all the water has evaporated. Just let it sit on there for a little bit and heat up, and the water will evaporate. And I season my pans with bacon grease. Totally up to you what you want to use. You can use bacon grease, lard, tallow, avocado oil. Some people use flaxseed oil, but that's really expensive. Bacon grease works just great for me. So you want to make sure you coat the entire pan. Back, front, side, handles, cover it all, and then get another paper towel. I use paper towels for mine, and wipe off all the excess oil. You don't want any excess oil because as you're seasoning your pan, that will make the pan sticky. You turn your pans down as you place them in the oven. You can put like a cookie sheet underneath of them if you're afraid of any kind of drippage. I haven't had that kind of problem. So I throw mine in at 350 to 400, and I let them bake in there for 20 minutes, pull them out, coat them again, pop them back in for another 20 minutes, pull it out, coat it again, pop it back in there for another 20 minutes. Usually you're going to go about 3 or 4 times, sometimes 6. Just depends on what the pan actually needs. This lid here, I'm not sure how to tackle this one, so this is going to be a project for another day. I went ahead also and cleaned up the canner. It wasn't really dirty as much as it was just kind of just dusty, no rust at all. I didn't see any pitting or anything on the inside of the canner. It's just an older canner. So I'm really hoping that we can bring this back to life and use it. This canner was handed down through Joe's family, so I really want to hang on to this because this canner comes with a lot of stories, and I want to be able to share these stories with my girls.
So, of course, we're going to do a pressure test on this just to even make sure that it's still good and that it'll work. I think Joe used it about 6-7 years ago to can green beans, and it worked just fine. So it worked just fine, but what I did do is I found some replacement parts. My only worry is they're not exact. So this has a different type of valve at the top that opens and closes. This was easy to find, the pressure gauge. So, and I went to American Canner's site to match up the parts, and I found them cheaper on Amazon, not that much cheaper, but they were there, and purchased it through American Canner through Amazon. So I've got some of the parts. It says that this pressure canner part fits for pressure. It says that the relief valve will, my sweet potato's done. It says that the release valve will work with this pressure canner, but when I look at the size of the valve that's currently on here, I don't know about this. But Joe's gonna have to pull the parts off because they've never been removed and they are on there really good. So we're gonna do a pressure test first to see if these parts even still work and if it will hold pressure before we replace them. If it works, great. If not, we'll try to replace the parts. You can even get a replacement handle for these as well. But I also picked up a weight that would go with the new valve. Where this particular canner doesn't use a weight. Joe's never used the pressure canner. I have a Presto. He's never used that type of canner. He's always used this really old one. So we'll see what happens. If it still works, that's great. We have an extra pressure canner. I like that these are a lot lighter and than the current American canners that are out. They're very heavy. This is nice and light. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll do a test on it, and I'll update you guys on how the test went. But for right now, I will continue to use my Presto before I put any kind of food in this, because that would just break my heart if I lost a whole bunch of food. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you will invest your time and get some cast iron pans and clean them up. You don't have to buy them brand new. You don't have to get the really expensive ones. Go and do some garage sailing. Check around on Facebook Marketplace. I know you can find something. And if you don't know what to look for, I like my Lodge, but I really love the Wagner pans. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on my journey today, and I bless you on yours.